Imagine climbing a mountain to meet God, carrying stone tablets, engraved with his very words, commandments, meant to guide a nation, just freed from slavery. Moses held these sacred stones as the voice of God himself. Below, the people he had led out of Egypt waited, anxious and restless. Days passed, and doubt began to spread like wildfire. Some whispered that Moses would never return. Fear settled over the camp like a heavy cloud, and impatience grew in their hearts. In their desperation, the Israelites turned to what they could hold, something tangible to give them a false sense of security. They gathered the gold they had carried from Egypt, treasures taken from the Egyptians during their miraculous deliverance. Earrings, jewelry, and ornaments were melted and fashioned into a calf, a familiar idol from the culture they had just left. They built an altar, offered sacrifices, and danced in celebration, thinking they could control their future with a visible God instead of trusting the invisible God who had delivered them from slavery and performed countless miracles for them. When Moses descended the mountain and saw the scene, his heart burned with grief and righteous anger. The golden calf, the music, the sacrifices, the revelry, it was all a betrayal of the covenant God had just given them. In his sorrow and outrage, he threw the stone tablets to the ground, shattering them. But did this mean God's covenant was broken? Not at all. The covenant was never in the stone itself. It was in God's promise and his unwavering faithfulness. The broken tablets reflected the broken obedience of the people, not the failure of God. God later commanded Moses to carve a second set of tablets, restoring the covenant and demonstrating his mercy. The event shows that sin can disrupt fellowship and obedience, but it cannot undo God's commitment. Even when humanity fails, God's covenant endures. His promises remain unshakable, and his plan moves forward. If this story reminds you that God's faithfulness is greater than our failures, type Amen in the comments and commit to trusting him fully, even in the moments you stumble.